refer back to this video at all. I also want to thank everyone for being on this call on behalf of the Office of the Food Security Advocate and our many partners across the state that helped put this material together, especially to our partners at Hunger Free New Jersey for creating the outreach toolkit, which we will go over shortly. This is a really important year here in the state of New Jersey. So much has changed, which is one of the reasons why we have created this training and have launched this outreach around school meal applications. And we'll get into that in just a moment, but we're going to go ahead and get our presentation started. And again, I just ask that everyone mute themselves so that everyone can hear. So let's talk a little bit about the need. So in 2022, over 994,000 individuals experienced food security here in New Jersey. The food insecurity rate was 10.7% in the state compared to 13.5% nationwide. The rate of food insecurity is higher among children, those 18 years of age and under, with over 163,000 children experiencing food insecurity in New Jersey in 2022. We also see some inconsistencies in terms of how food insecurity affects different populations. Black and Latino individuals experience food insecurity at higher rates than white across the state of New Jersey. And one thing to note, and this is really something that cannot be stressed enough, from 2018 to 2020, food insecurity in New Jersey has only gotten worse, going from 8.7% overall and 11.3% among children to its current 10.7% and 13.2%. So with all of the work that we're doing to try and increase outreach and increase support and reduce food insecurity, the numbers next week. So we'll see what those numbers have to tell us about the situation here in New Jersey. So why are we focused on school meal applications? So the numbers that we just reviewed are very telling regarding food insecurity across the state. But we are also fortunate enough that the governor signed a bill last January expanding income eligibility for households to 224% of the federal poverty line when it comes to school meals for free and reduced price. 60,000 students will be eligible for free and reduced priced meals due to the signing of this bill. In addition, this year's application doubles as the application for 2025 summer EBT. In its inaugural year, summer EBT, and I'm going to preface this by saying we're still issuing cards. We've already issued almost over 600,000 cards, and we continue to issue. The deadline for application is later this week, so we will continue sending out cards well into September. And one thing that I want you to think about, we've got a public school of enrollment of around 1.3 million kids here in New Jersey. So if we've issued more than 600,000 cards, that means about 50% of New Jersey students qualify or are in need of some type of food assistance. So that's a really humbling number, but it also is to help give you a better idea of the impact this work is having. So again, this really demonstrates need. For CEP districts, and for those of you unfamiliar with CEP, those are districts that are enrolled or have opted into community eligibility provision. This year, the school meal application takes the place of the household income forms. Again, brand new for this year. And then last but not least, since COVID-19 applications have dropped and school meal debt has escalated. So these are two trends that we are trying to address through these outreach efforts. In addition, another thing to celebrate is that New Jersey has opted into the Medicaid Direct Certification pilot. And the early estimates from Food and Nutrition Services are promising. Direct certification is a method by which, if you are a household receiving Medicaid and meeting income eligibility, the children in that household are automatically eligible for free and reduced priced meals. So this is a process by which the family doesn't need to complete an application for school meals because they are directly certified. So that's promising. But again, as a negative, New Jersey lags behind other states when opting into the community eligibility provision. We're at around 50% among our public schools versus 80% nationwide. CEP enrollment, again, for those of you unfamiliar with CEP, ensures every student has access to free healthy meals regardless of household income, meaning there is no school meal debt and there is no stigma because every child is on the same playing field and every child is eligible for free meals. So again, that's sort of some of the background about why we are doing this work and why we've called upon CBOs and nonprofits and food banks and pantries and agencies across the state to help us in building awareness and visibility with parents, because we do want to change this. And so in thinking about how we change this, the Office of the Food Security Advocate has adopted a more holistic definition around food insecurity. And it's something that we like to share because I think it does create or frame the conversation around food insecurity. You'll notice on this side of the screen, you see agency, stability, sustainability, access, availability, and utilization. We refer to those as the 6 pillars. Most definitions of food security focus simply on access and availability. Some will even take into account stability, at least in the short term. This definition is much more holistic and all-encompassing. So for us, food security is a situation that exists when all people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. So again, our definition takes into account all 6 of these pillars, but also humanizes it in a way where food security also means that people are able to put food on the table based upon dietary preferences, which may be based upon religion or culture. And then we also stress the connection for an active and healthy life. So again, our definition is much more holistic, and it's something that we think about as we do our work across the state and engage with partners like yourselves.
Dan, you went on mute.
Thanks, Jen. So as I was saying, let's talk a little bit about who qualifies for free and reduced school meals. All children in households receiving benefits through SNAP or TANF, also known as Work First New Jersey. As I said, these are families that would qualify for direct certification. Also, foster children that are under the legal responsibility of a foster care agency or court. Children participating in their school's Head Start program. Children who meet the definition of homeless, runaway, or migrant under McKinney-Vento. In addition, households that meet or fall below the income eligibility thresholds, which again changed this year due to that bill signed by the governor in January. And then one thing we like to point out is immigrant families may also qualify for free and reduced school meals without fear under public charge as long as they meet income guidelines. So if you have an immigrant family that's concerned about taking advantage of free and reduced priced meals because of its impact on residency or their status, public charge does not apply to school meals. So we want to allay any fears that immigrant families may have around applying. So these are the expanded income guidelines based upon the bill that the governor signed in January. And this is something that I actually like to include when I'm doing outreach, whether it's at a tabling event or conducting a webinar like this. A lot of times I'll have families stop by, take a look at the chart and say, wait a minute, I never qualified before, but based upon this, I might actually qualify this year. And that's really what this outreach is all about, is raising that, again, that awareness and that visibility, particularly around New Jersey expanded income, because more families will qualify than ever before. So we want to make sure that families that did not qualify in the past take another look and realize, yeah, maybe this year I actually do qualify, and I'm going to go ahead and submit that application. So again, this is a great chart to come by. And again, my thanks to our friends with Hunger Free for putting this in the toolkit, which we'll talk about shortly. So when it comes to the school meal application, there are a couple of challenges. First and foremost, there is no statewide application, which is a misnomer, but it's not, because there is a statewide application requirement in terms of the data that's collected by the school districts. However, if someone was to come up to me on the street and say, hey, where can I go and apply for the school meal application? There's no one state site that I could send a household to. So the applications are school district specific. So the individual household would need to go to their district webpage to find out where the application resides and how to get a hold of it. So again, we have to direct households to their school district website. It may be under a families or a services or a departments tab. And we do recommend and prefer doing these applications online due to safety concerns, due to privacy and confidentiality concerns. I know with many districts, you're applying through their parent portal. So you're actually maybe asked for the child's school ID, which then allows the data to download or connect to the data specific to that child, so that that data can then automatically fill the application. But I do want to point out that one application can be used for the district. So if you've got 3 children all enrolled in the same district, you're not having to complete an application for each child. You can put all of the children on one application as long as they're within the same district. So let's say that you've got kids in an elementary school, but then they go to ascending district for high school. In an instance like that, you would have to complete an application for the elementary district and one for the children in the high school district. So again, it's per school district, not necessarily per child. So again, that's something that we like to let parents know, because many of them are under the impression that they need to complete an application for every child in the house, meaning a separate application. So that's just a quick understanding of application requirements in terms of who can apply, who may be eligible, and where to find the application. Let's take a look at the application now itself. So I'm going to stop sharing screen, and we are going to bring up the application. So this is the application itself. And the one thing that I want to preface is that the application is not difficult to fill out. There's a good amount of data, but not as much as you might think. And it's probably easier than some of the other applications you've been asked to complete or may have assisted with. There are instructions. So one of the things that we're adding to the toolkit, and again, my thanks to Hunger Free, is a copy of the paper application with instructions, so that you'll be able to download. I actually like to give households a copy of the application and instructions when doing tabling events, because a lot of them would prefer to go home and complete the form so that they've got that privacy and confidentiality. So again, this information will be available in the toolkit. But again, I want to go through each of the fields so that everyone understands what is being required. So as I said before, the preference is to do these applications online, and you will be asked for identical information. Traditionally, step one of the application is listing all of the children in the household. Now, this may not be every child in the school or the school district. It's every child in the household. And the reason why they're asking this information is they are trying to determine how many people are in the household. So they're starting with the children first. As you saw with the income eligibility chart, it is based upon household size. So not every one of these children may even be at an age where they can receive school meals. They still may be infants. They may be attending daycare, but they are being put on the application so that the school can determine what the household size is. So if you look at the instructions in the application, it tells us that first list all children in the household. Do not forget to list infants, children attending other schools, children not in school, and children not applying for benefits. This includes children not related to you and your household. So you may be caring for a child that is not necessarily related to you. If they are a member of the household and you are providing support to that child, they need to be included in step one. The instructions also stipulate, list the infants, list the children attending other schools. Maybe you have a child attending a private school, or maybe they're being homeschooled. You want to list children not in school, as well as children that may be attending the school but are not applying for benefits. So you want to make sure that you list every child so that you can maximize the size of the household. And again, within legal parameters. We want to make sure that they're actually claiming children that live within that household. To the side, you'll see that we're listing the child's first name, middle initial, last name, the school they attend, and the grade. If they are a foster child, migrant worker, runaway, or homeless, we are also checking that corresponding box. If that child does not fall into any of those categories, we simply leave those boxes free. But again, we fill out this form listing any and all children in that household. Our next step is step 2. And this is specific to families that participate in SNAP or in TANF. If the household participates, you would respond by checking yes. And then in this field, you must include the the case number for SNAP or TANF, and that is not the EBT number. It is the case number. So please be certain you emphasize that, even though it's on the form, emphasize with families it is a case number, not an EBT number. If they provide the incorrect number, it could mean a lag in processing and a delay of enrollment for the children. So we want to get that information correct. Now, if you do say yes to step 2, you don't have to do step 3, because step 3 is the one that's the most involved. So if you're in SNAP or TANF and you provide that case number, you're going to skip to step 4. If not, if you check the no, you're going to move down to step 3. And this is where we list income. In addition to income, we are including, once again, the name of adult house members. As per the instructions, all adult house members, anyone who is living with you and shares income and expenses, even if not related, including you. So these are all adult household members, regardless of whether they have earnings or not. If they share an income and expenses, they need to be listed on this form. So as you list each adult, you are then going to be providing different types of income. And this is where a lot of confusion comes in. The nice thing is there's help built into the form. So category 1 is earnings from work. If we go to the next page of the form, at the very top, it tells us what these sources of income are. So for earnings from work, salary, wages, cash bonuses, net income from self-employment, and then specific rules to members of the military. What is included and what is excluded regarding earnings from work. The next category is public assistance, alimony, and child support. This includes workman's comp, supplemental Social Security, alimony, child support. That is listed in the second column of the worksheet. Third column, pensions, retirements, and all other sources of income, including Social Security disability, annuities, investment income, earned interest, rental income. And then last but not least, we're going to know that information, go back to this part of the grid. We're going to put in the earnings for each of the three categories and indicate frequency. Is that what you receive weekly, every 2 weeks, every twice a month, monthly, or annually? Again, the household needs to stipulate and identify the frequency of that income. We do that with earnings from work. We do that for public assistance, and then we do that for pensions and retirement. At the very bottom, you will notice total household members. This is both children and adults. So again, this is the number that the school district will use in determining household size, in using that figure to determine eligibility. Next to that, we are requesting Social Security number, last 4 digits of the primary wage earner. The primary wage earner may not be the person doing this form. If it is, great. If not, they prefer primary wage, but they will also allow or other adult household member. So again, the preference is primary wage earner, if not another adult household member. This is only for school meals. If the household is applying for summer EBT only, they don't need to use that 4-digit social. They only need if they're applying for school meals. So let's say you're working with a district like that is enrolled in the community eligibility provision and every child gets free meals. Well, with summer EBT, they still need to apply for those benefits if they are not directly certified. So that household may use this form to get summer EBT. And again, for summer EBT, the last 4 digits of the social are not required. For households where you may have individuals that do not have a social, you check this box to say that there's no social. You may see that among immigrant families. I have been told by FNS, if the family have individual tax ID numbers, which for some families take the place of a Social Security number, they do not want an ITIN. It needs to be a Social Security number. So ITIN should not be listed on this form. So if they have only an ITIN and no social, they need to check the box for no social. Last but not least, check to opt out of summer EBT. So if you only want school meals and you do not want summer EBT, the household needs to check that box. Again, they don't have to if they want both, but if they only want school meals, they check the opt-out box for summer EBT. So that's the bulk of section or step 3, but there's more. The school district also wants to collect income that the children earn. So unlike the top of this section, with the children, you add it all together. So rather than listing the income for each child, maybe you've got 2 high school kids that are working part-time at a local McDonald's. You will take all their income. Let's say that the kids work 20 hours a week and they're both making 15 an hour. You'll add that together. That's the total childhood income. And you'll again determine the frequency of that payment. You will notice it refers you back here. Examples of income for children. Full or part-time job where they earn salary or wages. Social Security benefits if the child is blind or disabled. Social Security benefits if a parent is disabled, retired, or deceased, and the child receives their Social Security. A friend or extended family member gives them regular spending money, or a child receives regular income from a private pension fund, annuity, or trust. So again, these are examples of income for children to help households complete that section of the form. That can be the most confusing portion for because it's not always plain as day, especially for households where English may be their second language. So again, we do want to take the time to explain this to households and also use the back part of the form so that they understand what the sources of that income are. Last but not least is step 4, and this is what's referred to as the contact information and certification portion. And what's happening within this section is the person that completes this form is certifying to the best of their knowledge that this information is factual. And this is one of the reasons why I tell people that are doing this type of outreach, do not complete the form, because if you're the one that's completing the form, you should be the one certifying it. So make sure that you are providing assistance to the household. They should be the ones completing the form because they are the ones providing the information. So again, let them complete the form with your help. So with step 4, you insert the address of the school. Again, if you're doing this online, that will automatically be filled, or it should be. Then you will indicate the name of the adult signing the form, provide the signature, a date, and the mailing address of the person that signed the form. You will also notice in green, right above the print name of adult, you are certifying when signing this form that you are not receiving summer EBT benefits from another state. So again, that's why I really emphasize the fact that you, as a community resident, as a volunteer, as a CBO, as a food bank or pantry, you are not the ones to complete this form. You are simply providing assistance and answering questions. Let the household complete the form because they must certify the accuracy of this information. So that's page 1. These are all of the required fields for the school meal application. On the flip side, you will see an optional section to capture ethnicity and race data. Again, it is completely optional to the household to provide, and I would not be surprised if a household actually overlooks it, focusing just on completing the front of the application itself. This might be a little bit more prominent on the electronic versions, but again, the ethnicity and race questions are completely optional. At this point, it gets submitted to the school district, and the school district does their part to determine eligibility. So again, our focus is really on steps 1 through 4, providing that assistance, answering those questions, especially around sources of income. All right, so let us go back to our PowerPoint. Up where we left off. So, some special considerations. What determines a household? So this is a question that we have gotten, I've gotten when I've been out in the field. First and foremost, as a volunteer, you are not a representative of the state, of FNS, of the USDA, or even of the New Jersey Office of the Food Security Advocate. You can provide guidance based upon the instructions on the form, what constitutes a household, but it's not up to you to decide, oh yeah, they're a member of the household, or no, they're not. The form is very specific in telling or spelling out who needs to be listed on the form. So do not take it upon yourself to determine or to dictate who is a yes versus who is a no. Let the instructions be your guide in answering questions around what constitutes a household. Who gets audited is another question we get. So by definition, or actually by, I guess it's by federal regulation, school districts are required to audit a portion, a percentage of the applications filed. I believe it's 3%. So it's not a large number, but there is the possibility, and it's completely randomized, that an application will get audited. That audit may simply validate the original determination. The audit might determine there was something that needs to be questioned. It might determine that there's additional information required or requested. So that brings us to, what if I'm denied or asked for more information? So most likely, if you get asked for more information, it's because you probably left something incomplete or inaccurate on the form, which is why we stress with families to make sure they complete that form to the best of their ability and as accurately as possible. If you are asked, or a household is asked, to provide additional information, we ask that they comply as quickly as possible so as not to delay the certification of that household and ensure that those children are getting the benefits that they deserve. It's possible, again, if there's missing information on that application, the school district will absolutely come asking for more information. So it's, again, we want to make sure that we complete that form with as much detail and accuracy as possible. And if you are denied, you have the right to ask for both the explanation and to find out or to challenge. So if you feel that you were unjustly denied the benefit, you can challenge that with your school district and ask that it be reevaluated and to plead your case. Just because you are denied benefits, there's no reason for you to simply accept that. Mistakes happen. Maybe you reported something incorrectly. Maybe you put a number in wrong. Things happen. So rather than simply accepting a denial at face value, I tell families to work with the school district, find out if there was maybe some incorrect information on the form, but challenge it. If you are eligible for these benefits, we want to make sure that your children get those benefits. So denials do happen. Denials can be challenged, and in instances, denials can be reversed. So we don't want families to think that that's the end all. So something that I also want to point out, the school meal application is more than just an application. It's important to submit the school meals and summer EBT application, even if you qualified for free meals in the past, or your school provides free meals for all. Again, those are for those districts that might be in the community eligibility provision. The school meal application may make you eligible for fee waivers for college applications and admission tests. These applications help provide resources for teachers and students, and they may help determine eligibility for federal, state, and local funding of school budgets. So again, it is truly more than just a meal application, and we cannot stress this enough. And it's something that parents need to think about, because many of them just don't fill out the application. Why bother? What's the need? So we want households to understand it's a greater need. It's more than just that school meal application. It's more than just summer EBT. These applications have so much more value. So what's your role? So number one, be available to cover events in your area of the state, and look for events on your own. You may be working for an organization that is conducting events already, and you want this to be a part of that event. When doing outreach, answer questions and allay fears, especially among immigrant families. Help navigate households to their district applications. The first question I always get is, where do I start? Where do I find this information? So get them to the right place. Assist households with the application completion if able. So again, if you are at a tabling event, you may not have the benefit of working one-on-one with the household. So provide what assistance you can. And if you can't provide them with the blank application, provide them with the instructions so that they're able to refer back to those instructions when they're working on it on their own. And then last but not least, our team would love for you to report back with the work that you're doing. Share your stories with us, send us pics, let us know about the work that you're doing. We want it for our records, but we also want to promote it on our social media and applaud the efforts of all the work being done around school meal applications. So please make sure you share that with us so that we can share it with everyone. We want success. We want to hear about success. And then on that note of social media, let's promote school meal applications. Let's use social media to our benefit. We need as much exposure as possible. And when you're sharing those media posts, tag the Office of the Food Security Advocate, tag our partners at Hunger Free New Jersey, the Department of Agriculture and Education for making this possible. Share the excitement, share the success, share these announcements, build that exposure and visibility around the need to complete school meal applications, because again, it's so important to help us address food insecurity across the state. You know, something to note, school meal participation on average saves families $1,200 per year per child. In this economy, that's a lot of money. And it also reduces the strain on our food banks and food pantries. So we can't stress that enough, the benefit of school meals to our New Jersey school children, but also to the larger whole. It just is so important. So the next thing I want to talk about is the amazing outreach toolkit built and supported by our partners at Hunger Free New Jersey. It includes explainers, PowerPoints, suggested scripts for social media posts. There are templates for newsletters and robocalling, and great graphics that the team put together. So let me share that with you all very quickly. This is the website that Hunger Free put together. If you scroll down, you will see the English toolkit. And we have other languages coming in the next week or so that will be posted here as well. You can see some of the examples of some of the handouts and graphics that have been created, but you will find wonderful information. Again, you've got explainers, which includes that amazing grid for the New Jersey expanded income. You've got the explainer slides, a really simple PowerPoint. It's only 5 or 6 slides. So if you're doing an outreach presentation or a webinar, you don't have to put anything together. It's done for you. We've got now application instructions. So that's where you're going to find the application on paper along with the instructions. You've got the templates, the social media toolkit, and again, all of the amazing graphics that Hunger Free put together. And again, we cannot thank them enough for all of that work and for all the amazing contents. So please, please, please check out that toolkit. It is absolutely fantastic. And then last but not least, if you need help, because there is a lot to this and you may have questions, especially when you're doing events. So feel free, shoot me an email, send me a text, call me. This is my work cell. I keep it with me at all times. I don't expect everyone to walk away from this with all of the answers. So again, please reach out if you have questions. And if you can't respond on the spot, let the household know that you'll get back to them. Take their contact information, reach out to us with your question. We will get you an answer so that you can get back to the household. This is a joint effort. This is an effort that we cannot do on our own, and which is why we are so fortunate to have folks like you at the table today, so willing and so altruistic and wanting to support New Jersey households. We can't thank all of you enough. So with that said, I would like to open it up to questions. And while we're doing Q&A, if everyone could just go into chat and give us your name and the organization you're with. We just want to keep track to just have a better understanding of what organizations have gone through this training. And it will also allow us to send updates regarding school meal applications and any additions to the wonderful toolkit put together by Hunger Free. So again, if anyone has any questions, if you'll use the tool to raise your hand, we'll give you an opportunity at this point. Okay, Jen.
Hi, thanks. Quick question. I just wanted to clarify, or I guess reiterate. So anybody that's direct certified is going to get summer EBT without filling out this application.
If they are certified directly, yes. So
Okay.
this year that includes Medicaid, TANF, and SNAP. So if they got the letter from their school district saying that you are automatically certified, that counts for both school meals and for summer EBT.
Okay. And then, so if you're in a community eligibility provision district and you're direct certified, you don't need to fill this out. But if you are in a community eligibility provision district and you are not direct certified but eligible for free meals, you need to fill it out for summer EBT.
Correct. And that's one of
Okay.
the issues we're running into, Jen, is some of the districts that are CEP have not posted the application to their website. So we're going to try and do some outreach through our partners with ASBO and SNA, School Nutrition Association, to see what we can do to get those applications posted. Because I think part of it might be that the districts don't understand that requirement. So we need to do a little bit of work on that part so that they understand.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, Jake.
Hey, Dr. Dan, thanks. I just wanted to, not a question, just wanted to say thank you for inviting us and the community colleges. I'll share the recording with all of our colleges. This is all very beneficial for our parent students who would fall within the categories for their children. So thank you, thank you.
Our pleasure. Joan.
Thanks, Dan. So Jen just stated that so well. And I've been trying to figure out this decision tree, and I know that Lisa Pitts had a visual that kind of clearly communicated that because it is extremely complex. So I'm wondering, is that in the toolkit? Could there be a toolkit for, some sort of a slide for community eligibility provision schools versus not? Boy, when you get into the details, if I were a parent, or a school person, I'm not sure I would know what to do.
Joan, great question. And we are actually meeting tomorrow to talk about some supplemental material for the toolkit. And there is some confusion because we were going back and forth about it earlier this week around CEP districts and about what the requirements were for those students that were not directly certified. So that's something we could certainly add to the toolkit so that's available to all of our partners. Rosita, I see your hand.
Hi. Thank you for the this training. Very helpful. I have a question. So I am from Dover High School. So we will help our parents with the lunch application. And when we check in the parent portal, they'll usually say SNAP, right? When the family is, so we automatically know that they qualify. I believe in other years we had to anyway do the application online and press the button for SNAP, and then that's it. So now they don't have to do anything, nothing online, nothing on paper, or do they still want their name and?
So if the household is directly certified, the school district is supposed to send them notification. If they receive that notification from the school district, there is no need for them to complete that application. In working with other school districts, I know those letters are going out, and there may be a delay in some of those letters due to the addition of Medicaid this year, but the school district is supposed to notify those households that qualify in writing.
Okay, so Uh, would it now show family is eligible for Medicaid, so like it is on SNAP?
I honestly don't know because every school district portal is different. Some schools use one system, other schools use another. So because I don't have visibility specifically to Dover's system, it's hard for me to answer that question. I will say this, however, if a household is eligible via direct certification and they have not yet received notification from the district, and they complete an application just to be on the safe side, there is no harm in doing that. The school district will go through their list and deduplicate. So if they find an application for a household that's automatically certified, they'll simply negate the application because they are directly certified as a SNAP, TANF, or Medicaid recipient.
Okay, so maybe I'm asking the same question, but for example, we used to ask about the SNAP, right? So now is okay to ask, do you receive SNAP or TANF or Medicaid? And then we'll know if they're directly certified and they don't have to apply. Is that correct? That would be okay?
Again, I would say, wait for the notification from the district. The district has to supply that.
Okay.
So if the household has not received notification yet, they should complete the application. If they get that letter after they've applied, then they submitted an application that's not needed. So it's up to the household if they want to wait for that letter to be received, or if they just want to go ahead and complete that application and know that it's on file. Again, it's up to the household, but I don't want to say to a household, well, don't apply, you know you're certified. But if you haven't received that notification to say that you have been, I don't want them to risk not getting that benefit. So until that household receives that letter, I would err on the side of caution.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you so much.
Hey, Dr. Dan, shout out to you for this really great training. And hello to everyone on the group. I think I know most everyone, but it's good to see you all and have you all on the call. I just wanted to lift up some of the questions that dropped into chat. Jen Salt Taylor, thank you for being the co-host with us. Appreciate you as well. So Dan, I'm not sure if you saw this. There was a question about, does the application include foster children?
It does. If you are providing support to them and they are in your household, then yes. And remember, foster children are taken care of under McKinney-Vento, so they do need to be on your application for determining household size.
Thank you. And then another question in chat, how are group home children addressed on the application? As a family of one or zero income? Please advise.
Again, that's a good question. And those children, if they are in a situation where they are under a court protection or they have a court case, being homeless or in a foster situation or in a group home, they are covered under McKinney-Vento and should receive a letter from the school district stating that they are approved and they are enrolled. If not, reach out directly to the school district because a group home could be challenging because I'm not quite sure whether the state sees each child as their own household or if they see the group home as a singular household. So I would work directly with the district in regards to that question. And I'll also do a little bit of digging on our side to see if I can get that answer. Again, those children would be covered under McKinney-Vento and should automatically be enrolled. But I want to point out something that someone brought up on the chat was sometimes the benefits are new and not yet in the system. So if you have an individual who is new to a group home setting, they may be off the school district's radar because they have not yet been reported by the state. So again, there are some challenges around this work and why I appreciate all these questions, but let me do some additional digging. In a perfect world, they are qualified under McKinney-Vento and should automatically be certified. But in the event that they are not on that report or they did not receive that notification, let me double check and see what I can find out from the state. And we'll share that with everyone. Any other questions that I missed in the chat, Jamel?
No, you got them all.
All right. So with that, I want to thank everyone for their participation and for attending this call. I hope that you all found it valuable. I hope you all feel a lot more confident in assisting families. Again, I want to reiterate that it's assistance. Please don't complete the form on their behalf because they must be certifying the information. Jen, I see your hand up.
I'm sorry, I know everybody's probably ready to go. For people that work with multiple school districts, is it okay just to use the state blank one, or is that not supported?
So it's preferred, especially by the school districts that have online applications, to use their online portal. Most of the portals will request the child's ID number so that they can link it to existing data in their databases, and it will pre-populate a lot of the information in the form. So also, we know, because we all, a lot of us have kids. If you fill out that paper form and you send it off to school with little Johnny may fail to take that out of his backpack and hand it to his teacher. So that online portal is always recommended for that reason, as well as for privacy and confidentiality purposes. There's a lot of private information on that form, and it should not fall into hands that should not be seeing that information. So another good question. So with that, again, we want to thank everyone. As we shared, we will be posting this video to our YouTube channel so that you can refer back to it with any questions. You have our contact information if you have any questions in the interim. And again, I just want to thank you all. I wish you well in assisting families and doing outreach around the school meal program, school meal applications. I'm really counting on all of you to get these school meal counts up this year. We want to see every eligible family taking advantage of these programs. We want to see reductions in our school meal debt. But most importantly, we all know that a hungry child can't learn. So we want to make sure every child has the capacity for learning and success in the classroom. And this is one way that we make that happen. So thanks everyone so much. Enjoy your Labor Day weekends. Get some rest because school is back and we all know what that means. So enjoy. My thanks to everyone, and my thanks to Jen Taylor from Rutgers, and my thanks to my colleague Jamel for being on the call. Good luck and thanks again. Bye-bye.